Let's go, baby. The Mustang Mood's back and better than ever.
That's right.
Let's go. And it's just the two of us today. That's okay, because we're live from an undisclosed location somewhere in Fondren Library.
That's right.
On the beautiful campus of SMU in the Big D. You are listening to the Mustang Mood podcast. Heck yeah, man.
We're back.
We're back. And a lot of stuff has been happening. School's out, the semester's over. Sports are done on campus. And so, yeah, like the only thing left in college is the World Series, and then it's over for the year.
Pretty crazy.
End of the year. And so, so there's not a whole lot happening, but definitely some things on the horizon that we'd like to talk about. We're pumped about. And so, one thing we wanted to talk about was how great this podcast is. We've talked about it again and again.
That's right.
We're the second best podcast, but in some ways, we're the first best.
This is a completely unbiased take.
And we're deeply connected to the Dallas community, to the SMU community.
That's right.
And sometimes we get hot takes or hot news before anyone else.
That's right.
There was a lot of heat on the internet this weekend, like a certain news story was breaking around Kevin Jennings. And we were like, hey, we talked about this 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so if you go back to our podcast, when was that? It was like 3 episodes ago. Let's see. I'm looking up the name of it real quick. Anyway, we were talking about some potential meddling.
That's right.
In the SMU football team. This was called SMU Spring Football and Fondren Studio Farewell. This came out April 28th.
April 28th.
We were talking about how Kevin Jennings was offered $4 million by Nick Saban to leave SMU and go to the University of Alabama. And so, going to that, I think like at the 28-minute mark, we started talking about it. So if you're interested in that, give that a listen. But we're breaking the news early. It kind of blew up this weekend. A lot of people were saying it's fake news. I know that my friend's dentist would never lie to us. And that connection, so it was true. Kevin was being recruited by Nick Saban. And once again, I think it speaks to the strength, to the family ties of this team, of Rhett Lashley, and the rest of the coaching staff, Casey Woods, De'Aaron King, like all these guys. Like Kevin wants to be here. We believed in him early. Excuse me, and he wants to stick around, be loyal to that. So that's super exciting.
Absolutely, yeah. So you heard it here first. You may be hearing it now, but you heard it. You would have heard it here first if you were listening. So pretty cool to break something like that, even though nobody knows we broke it except us. But,
There's like 90 people.
Yeah, that's true.
They knew early.
Well, who knows if they listen long enough to hear that part. See, this is why you got to listen. Sometimes they're long. We're trying to keep it a little shorter. But you got to listen through because you might miss something like that.
There are nuggets of absolute gold.
That's right.
In there. And so
they're very hard to find, but they're there. We promise.
A couple other things we want to talk about on the SMU side. There was some volleyball news that came out today. So we got Avery Carlson. She's a setter, and she was selected to be one of the 18 athletes who will train with the women's under-23 team for the national team in the U.S. this year. So that's super exciting. So she'll be training with the team to play this July.
That's awesome.
August in Mexico, and then we had two teams, Favor and Jaden Livings. They're going to be on the, they were invited to participate in the training for the U.S. Olympics and Paralympic teams, and then to go and play in the Pan Am Cup. And so that's super exciting. We've got some deep volleyball talent.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. So I'm really looking forward to volleyball again this year. It's going to be awesome. It's awesome to see how like one good season of that can like transform like the focus.
Yeah, and I think it's cool to see how it's not just one team, the football team, which is the most obvious, doing well. We're seeing lots of different teams doing well, and so there's just a lot of momentum. It's really cool to see. And yeah, I feel like there's a ton of momentum behind the volleyball team right now, which is really exciting. hopefully we'll get more people out there and make it fun. So
Yeah. And with like the whole momentum of women's sports, like obviously we're trying to invest in women's basketball. But like it's cool to see other women's sports. My family's a big tech family. I've got a lot of alumni in my family who went to tech, and to see like the passion of West Texas and Lubbock specifically for softball after their World Series trip was crazy. And now like I think we get a little bit of that here with volleyball this season, or from last season, and then it's like feeding into this season. The excitement, the fact that we're charging for tickets to go to a volleyball game is crazy. It's
cool.
not something that's happened while we were in school. And so it's really exciting to see. Let's see, what else is happening? Oh, I saw today that we were actually selected to play in the SEC ACC Challenge this year. We're going to play Vanderbilt men's basketball. It's going to be on Wednesday, December 3rd.
Not too bad. How does that work? Do you know how that normally works?
With
like how they
selected?
I would just have assumed it was everybody, but I also don't. This is our first year in the ACC, or was our first year. So
yeah, it's a good question. I think that the newbies weren't selected last year, but let's see, there's 18. I think there's 18 and 17 in the conferences. So I think one from the ACC gets left out. Let's see.
Okay, that's kind of a lot.
Let's see, is that true? Oh, there's 16 in the SEC. So I guess 2 teams get left out.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I don't know who those 2 teams are this year, but we got left out last year. We're not getting left out this year.
And we would have, in retrospect, we deserved to not be playing in the challenge because we were pretty bad this year. So.
Yeah. I'm hoping, like, there's definitely momentum in the basketball. I don't feel it's like different than like the season before. Like, I know that we've got some good recruits, but I don't know. The energy around basketball doesn't feel the same. And maybe that's because we haven't had like the same access to the basketball team. But like, I don't know. I'm not as excited about basketball as I am about football.
Yeah.
Even though we've got a stacked roster coming.
Yeah, I feel like the team's going to be good this year. I guess we will see based on the support, because it wasn't great this past year. Like, even for the Duke game, it was pretty not great. But then again, the team wasn't very good, which was to be expected. But yeah, I guess I don't really feel the excitement about the team either, even though I feel like they're on the upward trajectory. So I guess we'll see how that goes. I feel like people at SMU, sometimes you have to be good for people to want to show up. So maybe they have to prove it first. We'll see.
That's definitely true. I think that's part of it. It's like that the buzz around the Duke game definitely was lessened. Well, one, because students weren't like, it wasn't during class.
That's right.
During winter break.
About that.
So that was unfortunate. But then two is like, it wasn't a very competitive game. Like Cooper Flag like stomped on us early and kept us down. So
I also think we may have talked about this before, but it's still kind of silly that they, after such a bad year, well, I guess it was decent, but like we didn't beat anybody with a pulse, to like raise the ticket prices. It was just like kind of, I don't know, kind of silly, but
yeah, I am like
we'll
questioning whether I'm going to renew my season ticket.
Yeah, I don't know,
because our home schedule isn't great.
Yeah,
we get UNC at home, and like that's the big one, and that's kind of all I care about. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't think like everything is set in stone yet. Obviously, we just got a new game today, and so we'll see.
Yeah, something to build on maybe. Yeah. I saw recently. Do you know what the Sports Spectrum is? Sports Spectrum. Well, so it's like a faith-based like podcast, and Rhett Lashley was on it.
Oh, cool.
It was released on Tuesday, but I'm thinking they may have recorded a few weeks before, because they said something about something that I think already happened. But it was really cool to hear him talk about his faith and like culture, building culture, and how he talked a lot about how like coaching is what he does, but it's not who he is. So he talked a lot about his family. He talked about some of the sermons from the church that. So I go to the same church as Rhett Lashley. That's not like it's a big church, so that doesn't really matter. But he was talking about some of the sermons like I've been at, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Maybe we could talk about it someday, Coach. Just kidding. We'd love. But it was cool. Like I think they're getting him out. I think if I remember correctly, somebody told us last season towards the end, like they kind of got him on too many things. Like he was doing a ton of shows.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to scale that back, but it was cool to see him on something like that. So just kind of a random aside, but check that out if you're interested in faith and sports together. Actually, the one that hosted was Matt Forte from the Bears. I didn't know he was a believer, so it was kind of interesting to hear. But yeah, that was cool to see. Keep doing your thing, Coach.
That's really cool. Yeah, he's a great guy. We love that he's the coach of the SMU Mustangs.
Absolutely.
That's been it's easy to cheer for a guy like that.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
Let's see what other things. I was looking at Heisman odds today. Sorry, we're kind of like bouncing all over the place, but that's the way we roll. When it's
right.
When it's just Jay and Ben on the pod,
right.
we bounce around.
We're just broing out.
I was looking at Heisman odds today, and I think it's an unfortunate year to be a Heisman possibility. It's stacked.
Oh yeah.
There's so many guys out there this year that could have crazy years. There are 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the ACC who are Heisman runners. And so guys who have a possibility of being in New York. And
I mean, really it doesn't matter because based on what everybody says, Arch Manning's going to win the Heisman and be the number 1 pick.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody knows that. Everybody's seen him play a lot and knows he's good. So sorry, it gets on my nerves. No, but yeah, I mean, you're right. There's Carson Beck, who we'll see, Cade Klubnik. I mean, and then you go to, there's so many schools.
Georgia Tech's quarterback is looking he looked good last year.
He was good, yeah.
I'm scared. Well, I'm glad we don't have Georgia Tech on our schedule this year. I'd be scared.
Yeah, honestly.
But that is my dream.
They were sneaky good last year.
That's my dream matchup in Charlotte is to play Georgia Tech.
That'd be fun.
So we miss Virginia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, UNC, NC State, GT, Florida State, and Duke this year.
No Coach Bill and his young lady friend.
We don't play them for another 3 years or something.
Oh wow.
Like that. Yeah, it's
I'm
crazy.
sure he'll be gone by then. I can't envision him lasting this long, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, some people didn't think he would still be around in June. So
that's true. So Fair point.
We'll see. I'm sure it'll depend on the performance on the field.
Okay. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you about the Heisman odds. What is he?
Yeah, KJ's plus 5,000. So not nearly as high as I thought he would be. He was pretty far down on that list. I didn't see exactly what spot he was in, but it was not high up there. There are definitely
That's fair.
A lot of SEC quarterbacks who are up
I'm
there.
sure, yeah.
And so, we'll see. The story going into last season was Travis Hunter is going to win the Heisman no matter what, and he did. So I feel like there's some of that, I don't know, that award may not be so accurate of the season, because I don't feel like Travis Hunter had the season that we expected him to have, to be the one, the only, to stand above everyone else, put his team on his back and go and win, a Big 12 championship. Obviously they were a much improved team, and they did some good things. They were in that race, but he wasn't far and away the best. And so I don't know, the media, the narrative matters a lot.
Yeah, it does.
In that, and I feel like being at a school like SMU definitely hurts your odds.
Yeah.
Whereas if KJ had taken the $4 million to be at Alabama, I think his odds would be a lot higher.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I don't know about Travis Hunter. I'm not going to pretend like I watch Big 12 football. Besides, did they play TCU? I might have been on hate watch, but that was before the catharsis. Oh, it was. What am I saying? That was the first game of the year. Yeah, and that was before we were healed, like we talked about.
That was 2 years ago.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, that was Dion.
Oh, yeah, because this was his second year. I don't know. Maybe they didn't play. Anyways, I'm not going to pretend like I watched the Big 12, so I didn't. But anyways, you never know. I mean, there's so many guys.
OU moves to the SEC, and suddenly a guy doesn't watch any Big 12 football at all.
What else would I have? What else is in the Big 12 to watch?
Well,
nothing.
Those the two teams on our schedule this year.
Oh, that's true. Baylor
and TCU.
That's right.
That's and the TCU is all lowercase. Just for those listening, on Spotify or Apple Music.
Just make sure you heard that right.
Yeah, lowercase TCU.
Yeah.
So we've got those two games, and another thing I wanted to talk through was K Ford's rankings. So for those of you who know, K Ford's a Twitter account that goes through and ranks each team and ranks on a lot of different things, offense, defense, special teams, and then ranks games based on watchability. So if you go and look at their account, you'll see the SMU projection. We're ranked 19 in the nation. We've got a pretty tough schedule though, where we play the number 8 team, the number 13, and the number 24 team. Those are all the top 25 teams according to K Ford. And then the Baylor and TCU, those are both in the low 30s. One thing I wanted to highlight is like the watchability of some of these games. Like anything over 9 is like considered like a game that like you should be watching. Like this is one I want to like. I want to make sure I'm on the couch. First for kickoff till the clock hits 0. And we've got 3 of those games. Oh no, we got 4 of those games on our schedule of over 9 watchability scores.
Wow.
So that the Baylor game, the TCU game, the Clemson game at Clemson, and then the Miami game at home, and the Louisville game at home are all over 9. Baylor's not over 9. It's 8.8, which is close. It'll be a good one to watch. But man, that Miami game at 9.6, week 10, it's just itching,
dude,
for college game day. And I'm just like, I've got shivers down my spine.
Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to get my hopes up. If
we go into that game, what would we be? Like 8-1, 7-1, something like that. If we only have one loss, or if we're 8-0 going into that game, that'd be nuts.
I'm trying to check to see who else. That's on the 1st, right?
Week 10, yeah.
1st of November. 1st. Let me see what else is that weekend. Obviously, this is a way early checkage of these things here, but
both of our wives are pregnant.
That's right.
We've talked about that on the pod before, and both due in September. So we'll have little ones at that time. And I was talking to my wife the other day, and she was like, "Hey, what are the games that we have to find a sitter, have to find, like we make sure we're at?" I was like, "There's one, and that's Miami homecoming, November 1st." It's an epic.
That's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be an epic day. It's gonna be crazy, and hopefully it starts early on ESPN with some crazy guys.
Hopefully it's not on the CW. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Well, let's see. Hopefully we give Baylor the CW treatment.
Yeah, I think we did. Speaking of CW, we want to thank the CW for sponsoring our show today. No, I'm kidding. We would never take that. UTEP and Kennesaw State play that weekend.
Oh, good thing it's on
Tuesday.
Thursday night.
It's on Tuesday, actually.
Oh.
Okay. Being serious, let's see. Oklahoma, Tennessee, South Carolina, Ole Miss. Penn State, Ohio State.
Big Noon will be there. So.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's our. I know it says TBD on the kickoff time, but that's going to be a noon kickoff on Fox. So.
Okay, some Big 12 games. Blah 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 blah. Georgia, Florida. That's already on ABC. There's some competition.
Florida. I mean, if Florida can be like a really excellent team this year, like some people think, DJ Lagway is going to be like really excellent, and so we'll see how that goes. If they're really good, that could be definitely a big one. But it seems, I mean, it's not like Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, and I'm sure most of these teams, especially in the SEC, they're going to have other huge games. I'm sure will happen at some point. So. Who knows? I mean,
that week 10 can be a dangerous one, or, I don't know. I like our odds though.
Also, I have some breaking news. You've heard it here first, fresh off the press. If you happen to be in Palo Alto, California on the 1st of November, you can watch the Pittsburgh Panthers play Stanford for as low as $7. That's a steal. Be there.
Get your tickets now.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, if you're in California, why come to the SMU game? Just go to that game. Like $7.
How much are SMU tickets for that game?
It says as low as $87.
Oh, okay.
So maybe not.
That's pretty expensive.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean,
for SMU tickets.
For SMU, yeah. For just a random game.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so we probably won't get game day, but hey, you never know.
Well, I would love it.
That'd be fun.
I really hope it happens.
Moving on. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to hit on the K Ford?
I don't think so. Like one thing I want to, I guess, maybe just touch on is our offense is projected to be pretty good. Like the 12th best offense in the country. The defense is where they project us to struggle. They think that we're going to be worse than we were last year, which I definitely see that we're losing production. But I think that I don't know. One thing that we want to do is like go position group by position group this summer.
We'll have that for sure.
And so we'll be working through that. So we haven't done our like intense research, but I feel like we're kind of like we're reloaded in that position. We've gotten older, we've gotten stronger. On that side of the ball. And so we'll see. So I think, I mean, special teams going to be a question again. We've got Colin Rogers coming back, but who's going to be punting the ball? Man, I'm going to miss Isaac.
Not our good friend. Yeah. Speaking of the defense, I think I definitely can see us dropping off. I think we're probably going to be about as good, maybe a little bit worse. But I think just because of the schedule's harder, it's going to make our statistics will probably be worse. So I feel like it makes sense to expect a drop in because our schedule was really easy last year, honestly. So that would make sense to happen. But I still think we're going to be a very balanced team on both sides of the ball. I mean, obviously we were able to keep our DC, and I mean he's the real deal. So I'm not too worried about either side of the ball, honestly. But it'll be interesting to see how we do with even though this is our second year in the ACC, it is a step up in terms of who we're playing, especially with the way Florida State turned out last year. Obviously, everybody knows that. So should be interesting. But I'm excited to whenever we get into our predictions because we were pretty good last year, honestly. So I'm kind of excited to see how that turns out this year.
Yeah, one thing I guess just going through our schedule. Obviously, we start out East Texas A&M at home in August, and then Baylor comes to Dallas. Then we go to Missouri State.
Hold on, say that again. We play at Missouri State. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. That's weird. However, I do know, like, again, people, if you've listened before, you probably know that I also was raised an Oklahoma fan. They're playing at Temple. That theirs was a 2-for-1, like 2 in Norman, 1 in. But it's still weird to see like Oklahoma going to Temple. I mean, it's not the same as they're not FCS, but
we don't even.
They're basically FCS.
We don't get Missouri State in Dallas ever. Like we're paying to go to Missouri State.
It wasn't even. It's not even like
we may not even be paying.
Were we filling in for like I don't think so. It's strange, but
something I forget the story. This is the Vanderbilt hole.
Oh, that's right.
Because Vanderbilt was supposed to come to Dallas this year.
Oh, so we were doing back to back. Okay, all's forgiven.
So
kind of had to scramble.
Yeah, it was.
What were we hoping for? We heard rumors about
Ole Miss.
That's
Ole
right.
Miss
That was
open week.
Oh, that was this year. Yeah.
But that didn't
happen.
That hasn't come to fruition. I think it's set.
I mean, we have a hard enough schedule, but I mean, it would have been fun.
It would have been awesome to play Ole Miss.
We do have a hard enough schedule, so.
Anyway, so then we get a bye week 3 at Missouri State. Sorry, knock on wood. And then we go and play in Fort Worth in week 4. And then we get Syracuse. We get a bye week. Then we get Syracuse and Stanford at home. And then we go to Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina. Then we stay in the Carolinas, go up to North Carolina, play Wake Forest, and then we get Miami at home for homecoming on November 1st. Then we go to Boston College, bye week, and then back home.
Oh no, not Boston again in November.
Oh yeah,
right.
The other one was in December.
I know,
it was
but
at Fenway Park.
Okay, hopefully it's we'll be fine. The last one is Louisville? You said.
Louisville, and then we go to Cal.
Louisville's here, right?
Louisville's our last home game. Yep. So their projections. Okay, so some highlights. K Ford gives us a 75% chance to beat Baylor at home, and then a 51% chance to beat TCU on the road. So we'll take it. They give us a 21% chance to go and beat Clemson in Death Valley.
That's fair.
And then they've got us. It's a coin flip, for the TCU and for the Miami games. 51 for TCU, and then 48% chance of beating Miami at home. They've got Clemson at number 8 in the country, and then Miami at 13. And then a 70% chance of beating Louisville at home. So it's an interesting schedule. Kind of goes in like weird kind of spurts. But we've got the 2 S's back to back. The similar logos
the S.
of the ACC. Syracuse, then
the orange and the cardinal.
Oh, and the colors. That's a good point.
And neither of them are plural. The orange and the cardinal.
Oh,
it's interesting.
They're both on the coast.
Yeah,
in coastal states.
Honestly, I feel like I don't know who Syracuse's quarterback is going to be this year, but I feel like they're elevating as a program. I'm kind of glad we have them in Dallas because I feel
Yeah.
like I would be a little bit worried if it was in, what is it, New Jersey, New York, wherever Syracuse is. I think it's New York.
Yeah.
I'd be a little bit worried, but
At the Dome.
Yeah.
They play in a dome in their basketball stadium.
oh really?
It's their football and basketball stadium.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It's
So,
kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would love to go. I forget the name of it now. They've changed the name. It used to be the Carrier Dome.
Oh, okay, that sounds
But
familiar.
I don't know what their sponsor is now, but I would love to go to the Carrier Dome when we play Syracuse in New York. That'd be a pretty fun one. I'd also love to go to Death Valley, and so
Oh heck yeah!
we're just gonna put this out there. If you want to sponsor the Mustang Moods travel
Please
to
do.
Death Valley,
Yeah.
I've got a friend who has who's a Clemson Tiger fan, and he gave me the down on how to do it. You pray for a noon kickoff, get the early flight from Dallas to Atlanta, drive from Atlanta to Clemson, South Carolina. You go and you tailgate a little bit before the game. You go to the game, and then you hightail it out to get the late flight out of Atlanta that night.
All in one day?
All in one day.
Wow.
Wake up in your bed very early in the morning, and then go to sleep in your own bed
Hey.
without any private jets that other
Yeah.
SMU podcasts may be telling you have to do.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that you can take it on commercial and do it in one day.
That's for the poor, as some people like to call us, the common folk over here. That's actually really interesting because I remembered hearing that it's really hard to get to. What is up with all these college towns being in?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's kind of unique, kind of cool, but
Yeah, I feel like Lubbock would be hard to get to. You'd have to
that's
fly.
fair.
Like
That's fair.
you can't drive there from any like regular
Yeah.
airport.
well, we have to make it happen. I'm sure maybe we'll get press access. Who knows? But like, I'm sure we'll make it down there, and we have to.
To Death Valley?
We got to.
Oh man, we'll see.
What's the date on that again?
Let's see. That's the middle of September. Or sorry, the middle of October.
I guess having newborn babies might complicate that, but
Yeah.
but then again, if it's a day on a Saturday,
Yeah, one Saturday.
we could make it happen.
That's a good point.
My wife, if you're listening,
Can you watch my son too?
love you, and she doesn't really like football, so she wouldn't want to go anyway. So it's all good.
There you go.
But yes, we love you, and please show me a favor. She will.
The 18th, Saturday the 18th of October.
October. Okay, I'll have at least a month or so.
So we'll see.
Should be fun.
I doubt we'll make it, but that'd be amazing.
So
if
we got.
if
to.
we have a sponsor, we'll definitely
yes,
we'll definitely make
we've
it.
got
So-
we've got to figure it out at least. Okay. Anyways,
So insert your ad here if you want to sponsor us. We're coming up on time, but I want to talk about one more thing. I think we're going to skip over the House versus the NCAA settlement. Obviously, there's some things there. There's lots of news about it though out there, and it's going to be interesting. I don't think it changes that much for us right now. Like off the bat, I'm interested to see like how the Title IX stuff and like how like it all gets litigated. Because I think it's a pretty interesting situation. So we'll see.
I like it. You did mention, you noted here that SMU hired somebody to oversee it.
Yeah. What's his name again? Mark Dowse.
Okay.
So he used to work for the athletic department. Then he went to go work for the MLS team in Houston. And now he's back on campus working in the athletic department. And he's in charge of kind of like all the new revenue sharing.
Okay.
But I guess so. For those of you who don't know what the House versus, I said we weren't going to talk about it. Now we're touching.
We can dabble. Yeah.
It's essentially now instead of like NIL collectives paying the players that are like affiliated loosely with the university, now it's the university paying the players. So like the check's going to say SMU, not the Boulevard Collective. And there's a salary cap. There's some rules.
But they can still get NIL deals, right?
They can still get NIL deals outside of it, but like collective deals won't be really a thing because you have to be like doing something. You have to be providing a service essentially.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is like the idea behind NIL that was kind of like changed a little bit for to like make it work. Anyway, all that being said, it'll be interesting to see it change. There are rules now that are like more definite.
We'll see how
and there's someone
enforceable they
in
are,
charge.
though.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah, the college sports commission is like, which is now being like, it has a CEO, someone who's like in charge of like enforcing these rules and overseeing all of it. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. Yeah, it'll be interesting. One thing to note though is like walk-ons are no longer a thing.
Yeah, I heard about
Scholarship
that.
limits have gone away. So instead of like limits on scholarships, there's now roster size limits. And so now football, instead of having like 85 scholarships and like potentially like 130 people on the team, it's gone down to like 105 roster spots. But everyone's now eligible to have a scholarship. So
Okay.
some pros and cons there. We'll
Yeah.
see. And then basketball has gone from 13 to 15, or 13 scholarships to 15 roster spots. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so if you had walk-ons, they would have to fit into the category of those
Of those 15, yeah.
of those 15, or for football 105. Okay, so it trims down the amount of walk-ons, but gives some of the walk-ons,
Well, yeah.
something like that,
I guess walk-ons, to me, don't normally have scholarships.
right?
But now I think you'd be able to have a scholarship.
Okay,
So I don't know. Maybe there will still be walk-ons. I don't know.
I have heard something about how it would affect that, like there would be less, at least numbers-wise. So
The one thing I did really want to talk about was the playoffs.
yeah,
So let's touch on that real quick, and then we'll move on. The thing that's changing this year is it's going from like the crazy kind of rules where the four conference champions, fourth highest ranked conference champions. So this year it was Arizona State, Oregon, Georgia, and who was it? Who's the other one?
Clemson. No,
Clemson
sorry,
didn't.
Boise
they-
State. Did
Oh
you say that
yeah,
already?
Boise State. Yeah,
Yeah.
got the so that's crazy.
I know.
Got the buys, but this year it's straight seeding, and so it would have been Oregon and Georgia were 1 and 2 before, but in that 3 spot would have been Texas, and then the 4 spot would have been Penn State, and so that's how they were ranked. So that would have changed a lot, and I'm a fan. Like I think gives us better matchups. It's definitely more interesting. Notre Dame has to be a big fan of this because they can work their way into a bye,
Oh, that's right.
whereas they weren't eligible for a bye before.
Right.
So the first round matchups would have been Indiana hosting Boise State, which would have been crazy. Like that would have been an amazing game. Notre Dame hosting Clemson, another great game. Arizona State going to the Horseshoe, may not have been a great game, but
Probably not.
that's
You never
okay.
know.
And then us going to Tennessee, SMU at Neyland Stadium.
That would have been fun.
Tennessee
I would
been a
have.
lot
I
more
would have
fun.
fancied our chances much better. Because no offense, but the now UCLA quarterback, he was just kind of a dude, like nothing special. So
Yeah. I mean, and we both laid eggs in the first round, essentially,
That's
and
true.
so it would have been a much more interesting game
yeah, definitely.
than the game we had against Penn
With
State.
the right to play Georgia.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that would have been pretty cool. So we'll see what happens this year. Hopefully, we're in that conversation again.
Yeah, I think it's the right move. I mean,
I agree.
I think everybody got to see it played out. Why it wasn't the right move,
Yeah.
but
And this is if I had to change the rules this year, this is how I would have changed it. I like it. Definitely would. As long as you have a chance to have a seat at the table, like
yeah,
I'm a fan.
I agree.
And so that kind of I want to talk a little bit about automatic qualifiers, because we still have the automatic qualifiers this year. Like the 5 highest ranked conference champions are going to be in the playoffs. But how do you feel about that in the future? Specifically speaking about playoff expansion, as it seems like we're in a collision course for 14 to 16 teams in the college football playoffs, and it doesn't seem like there's much we can do about that. What do you think about automatic qualifiers?
I definitely think that we should stick with the conference champions. I don't like, obviously, like it's easy to say when you're not in the SEC, but I don't like the idea of like the 4-4 or whatever things, like 4 automatics.
Yeah, 4-4-2-2-1.
Yeah, like whatever it
+1.
is. Well, first of all, I think they're gonna do 16, not 14. That's just that's what the sources are telling me. The sources are my own intuition. So, and I was reading today that the 5+11 is gaining momentum because when you're talking about like SEC gets 4 automatically, and then they could maybe get 1 more with the at-large, that would be 5 total. But like in this model where you're just going off of rankings, like they might get like 6 or 7 anyways.
Right.
So I think that's why because I know for sure the ACC and the Big 12 want to do the 5+11. And it sounds like the SEC is getting more on board. I mean, I think it's fine. I think like you said, as long as every conference of the major ones at least has an opportunity to for sure be in, I think that's what makes sense because they earned it. Again, like you can't control who's on your schedule. You can't control how good or bad the teams are if you're in the Little 12 or in the sometimes in the ACC. I guess like last year when the ACC was really down. Like there's nothing you can do about that. So I think it's fair to continue to have the top 5 go in, and the 11 at large I think is fair. So I mean, again, for those two options, that's definitely what I would prefer. But
if you asked me a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I would have agreed with you that I really thought for a while that the conversation of having 4 automatic bids was disgusting, and there was no value to it. But I've come around a little bit actually, and I was listening to Josh Pate this week in his podcast, and one thing he brought up was how well. I mean, if we look back on the last 10 years of the top 16, a lot of those teams are SEC or Big Ten teams, the vast majority. And so the likelihood that the SEC and the Big Ten get more than 4 teams in is strong with the 5+11 model. And it seems, I mean, I guess I want to discuss the 2 options of the 4-4-2-2-1 +1, which is, that's easy to remember, or the 5+11. I know one's 14, one's 16, but those seem to be the 2 biggest ones that are being talked about. And I mean, 14 and 16 are both too large. I would love to go back to 8 with the BCS computer. Like, obviously, my preference is 8 teams in the playoff. BCS computer decides who those 8 teams are. But they didn't ask me.
It's not up to us, yeah.
So it's looking like we're expanding. So it's either going to be 14, 16. And the ideas of these, the principles of these kind of apply to whether it's 14 or 16. But with the 4-4-2-2-1 +1 model, which for those at home, it means 4 SEC teams get automatically qualified, 4 Big Ten teams get automatically qualified, and then 2 from the ACC and from the Little 12, as you called it, and then 1 from a group of 5 team, and then 1 at-large team, or Notre Dame. So it's either Notre Dame or an at-large team. And so I like that model the best of the ones being thrown around because, let's face it, I mean, if we're looking at the Big 12, last year they only got 1 team in, and if there was a 14-team playoff, they still would have only had 1 team in. And so it's a benefit for them. There's going to be years for the ACC where we'd like to have 3 teams in, but there's probably going to be more years where we deserve to have 1 team in, get 2, than there are of we deserve to have 3 and only get 2. And so I think that it's the best possible scenario to give us a shot to have the most ACC and Big 12 teams in is the 4-4-2-2-1 +1 model, because so often the SEC and the Big Ten are like a vast majority of those at-large bids, and so I'd rather fight them in the playoffs than fight them in the standings, and so it's going to vary year to year, and that's what's so problematic about changing the CFP so often is we don't have good data for it. I feel like we had good data for the 4-team playoff. It's we understood who was getting in, who's getting it, not included. But we only have 1 year so far, the 12. We're about to do another 12, but we're probably going to change it before the end of that 12. And so who's to say?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy, honestly, just the way things have worked out. I would say, though, based on this year, let's look at based on this year's rankings. Let's see, we would have had...
So we would have had 3. The ACC would have had 3.
ACC would have had 3.
The Big 12, though, only would have had 1.
Right. I'm trying to think how else you do this. The Big 10 would have had 1, 2, 3, 4... 4. And then the SEC would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. And then Notre Dame, 3 from the ACC, 1 from Arizona State, and then Boise State. I don't know.
I mean, I think...
And this was a down year for the ACC, though, so I feel like we could be at a place where we're consistently getting 3. I think it's possible, yeah. I don't know. I still like the 5+11, but it's an interesting thought. You know, for you, the audience, let us know what you think.
We'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah.
So, give us your thoughts. Automatic qualifiers or no? I think that's kind of the big question, and we'll see. I think it may be a little short-sighted to go without automatic qualifiers if we're talking, specifically about the Big 12 and the ACC.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Obviously, the SEC and the Big 10 are the big, are the big dogs,
brothers, yeah.
And they're definitely threatening to take their ball and go home. So
yeah, and I do think I agree with what you're saying. To me, it's silly to let's do 12 1 year and then change it. Like let's see how it goes a few years maybe. I guess we're gonna get 2 years probably, and then I'm sure it'll be 16 the year after. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't know if it's about money, making more money with more games. Probably what it is. I don't know, but
yeah,
we'll see.
And the interesting thing to me, I guess, what you do preserve with the 5+11 is conference championship weekend, whereas with the automatic qualifiers, with having 4 from these conferences, you do lose some of the stakes from the conference championships weekends. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Who knows? But it should be interesting. And I've heard a lot of people say, you lost me. NCAA, college sports, you've lost me. You're paying the players. You got free agency. 12 teams in the freaking college football playoff. 16 teams in the freaking college football playoff. What's going on here? And I'm like, I'm loving it. I would rather have it a different way.
Yeah.
But that's why we have a podcast, is to complain about these things. And then we watch the heck out of SMU football, cheer them on. I think the passion for the game is still there from the fans,
definitely,
from the community. It's different, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah. And if you don't like it, you guys have the NFL. I mean, I'm not a huge NFL guy myself, but sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So
it's
you
a little
can take
soulless,
your ball and
yeah.
go home. But for us, we're going to be on the Boulevard.
With our ball.
Yes.
Playing
at Gerald J. Ford Stadium.
That's right. Let's go.
Come on, baby.
With real grass.
Oh, yeah. I'm so pumped about that.
Come on.
That's going to be great. And this podcast was great. Ben, had a pleasure.
Of course.
And thank you guys for listening. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us, give us a review on Spotify and Apple Music. Subscribe on YouTube. All the things. We love you. We appreciate you listening. Pony up.
Pony up.
Let's go. Heck yeah, baby.